I'm Ray Davies. I'm the co-creator and co-founder of the Film Industry Network. I've been in and out of the business for probably 15, 20 years now. I've had various incarnations in the field. Started off in the creative side of it, moved into the business end of it thanks to this gentleman here, my co-partner in the network, who will introduce himself shortly. And I've spent the last 5 years learning exactly what the film industry means to the first-time filmmaker. So we've now built an infrastructure, we've got a strategy, and we're rolling it out with a fantastic film festival group, who you are obviously familiar with because you're watching the podcast. So, any questions? Fire away.
Well, Paul, if you want to...
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Paul Eyres. I've been in the film industry for 25 years now. My background is in international film sales and distribution. I've been involved in films anywhere from $1 to $25 million in budget range. I've bought over 1,500 films to the UK in rights alone, in the cinema, on DVD, and I've also greenlit over 30 films, like I said, in various budgets. So my background is mainly in structure, finance, and distribution.
As far as the film network's concerned, obviously we've had a pilot year. We joined forces with Film Festival International, and obviously we've had a fantastic time getting to know the team, working with the team. We feel there's tremendous synergy there going forward, and we're more than happy to look at any strategies that are either on the table or that need expanding on with either before or during the next festival, as long as the filmmaker gets what they need out of our services and out of the experience of the festival. That's the most important thing to me.
Yeah, we've had a great time as well, sort of meeting filmmakers. So I think we had a good time, haven't we? Really,
Absolutely.
We enjoyed the year.
Absolutely.
It's been a really great experience. We've got to help lots of filmmakers, sort of sorting out, advising them on structure for distribution, finance.
Yep.
Lots of different things.
Yeah.
We've also got involved with a couple of filmmakers personally and helping them structure their films.
Yep.
So if the film's right and we like what you're doing, we will look at getting involved in it and helping you put it all together, which is what we've done now on, is it 2 films we're working on right now?
Yeah.
There's 2 films that we're in the process of working on, helping them raise capital on and structure.
Yeah.
And they're all really, really good things. So I think the Film Industry Network, I think what we should do is pretty much tell you what it is exactly, which is it was set up as an advisory service, almost like a concierge film service to advise producers, directors, writers, and give them the advice they need really to get into the industry, whether it's taking the next step, where they might have a finished film that needs help in distribution and structure. They might have a film that needs help, maybe putting some finance together. It may be a script that they need help with getting to the next stage. Lots of different things. Ray's more on the creative end. If it's about script structure, production, and things like that, Ray's your man, I think, more than me. If it's sales, international distribution, structure advising on the finance, I do a lot of risk assessment with banks, so I've done things where I've advised the banks on the level of cash you should have in a film to make it successful and commercial worldwide. So that's where I'm sort of more on that side, whereas Ray's more on the physical side and on the development and script writing side.
Yeah.
Where you're more on the creative, you're sort of behind that camera, whereas me, I don't want to go anywhere near a camera.
Well, this is why it works. I mean, just so you know, I've known Paul some 20 plus years, and I had a meager beginning in the industry on the creative side, and then all of a sudden I was pulled under the umbrella, so to speak, where I served a number of pleasurable years as a sidekick and assistant, and grew from there. So
Gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
I started as a runner on a film set at 17, so you know what?
Yeah. What I want to get across is there's no quick fixes. There's no fast breaks.
No.
You've got to put your time in. You've got to get to know the playing field. You've got to get to know the ball you're playing with and the teams that you're playing with.
And listen to the advice. It's important.
Listening is, if I was going to say anything, is paramount. It's listening to well, pretty much anything that's put in front of you in terms of offered advice, but certainly listening to those key mentors.
As far as what you're trying to achieve as a filmmaker and what you're trying to do, that's not for us to say.
No.
It's for us to advise you on the best way to structure things, whether it's, the setup of the company, the finance, there are certain things that may harm the film when it comes to selling it worldwide. But it also depends on, you, the filmmaker, because some people want to make a film they make them for different reasons. I mean, some people make them because it's a personal experience for them that they've gone through and they want to show that. And maybe they want to take that to the next level. Or then there are the people out there that want to get into the industry genuinely and sort of follow that path. So it just depends, doesn't it, really, on what they're trying to get into.
Absolutely.
But I think we've had a good time the last year, that's for sure.
Well, you know yourself. Every project is different. Every deal is different. Every person is different.
Never done a film twice the same.
No.
Ever.
And the people that we deal with, you
get some tough people to deal with who are really
strong personalities,
opinionated.
Yeah, strong personalities.
But then you get people that take the time and effort to listen.
Absolutely, and we've been very, very lucky to have the best of both worlds. I think, thanks to the Film Festival International Group, and the brilliant strategy that they've got in place to make sure that at least there's a certain level of acumen and a certain level of ability with the people coming forward. I'm quite happy to deal with people who have firstborn projects all day long, but it's always nice to see personal, from my perspective, growth from people that have been party to the festival, and obviously party to our talks as well, or our workshops, or even have just sat down and had the strength and confidence. And it is tough when you're in a room to put your hand up and ask that one question.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's why we're there for the week.
That's right.
And we're around, so you can grab us. The other thing I'd like to point out is we are going to be setting up. One-to-ones with filmmakers, writers, directors, producers, the lot. Yeah. So if they do want to sit down and have a chat, they're more than welcome to. As part of it, we'll obviously have that chat with them. If they want to join the network, then that'll entail them paying a one-off fee, and it's $149 a year, which I think is, quite frankly, fantastic for what they get in.
Yep.
They, for that, are getting advice on several projects that they're currently working on, and throughout the year they can call us on that and ask any questions they want, and we're there to help them and try and get them through to fruition. If they want a bit more than that, then we're talking consultancy, and then obviously we have to talk about what it is we offer and what we do for those clients, and then of course they are clients. So, but really, the Film Network wasn't set up more as an advisory service.
It was set up as an advisory service and a hold your hand service to make sure that people don't just drop off the edge of the cliff when they come out of the festival.
Steer them away from the rocks.
All too often I come away from festivals, and you've had it yourself as well, for at least the last 10, 15 years.
I've just been in an office last week with somebody, with a lawyer.
Yeah, exactly.
Asking us, can I help on 8 films? And we're like going, probably not, a bit too late on that one. And good on others.
I would say, and I think I'm pretty right in saying this, that we fed up of trying to salvage and fix things. And we wanted to just be that point a little further on, where people can actually come to us and say, I've got a concept, can you have a look at my plan?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And there was really only one way to do with that, and that was to create a vehicle where people felt that there was an open door policy. And that was really where the conversation started about the concierge service for the network. Before that, it was a rigid model, which it wasn't feelingless, it wasn't lifeless, but it was more structured towards people, things being filtered properly to us. And over the course of the last year, the synergy has shown itself. So now, obviously, as I said, we're fortunate enough to be part of the Film Festival International team, and more than happy to listen to anything that the festival wants to achieve. And equally, any other groups that come forward that want to network with the likes of the film industry network. And if they think we can bring something fresh to the table, we're more than happy to do that under a banner as well, you know. But our loyalty is obviously to the filmmaker. We have our festival group. We're more than happy with our festival partner. What we need to do now is make sure that the vehicles that we create are positive, commercially viable vehicles, and that people launch their careers off the back of it. And that's the most important thing to me, as one of the creators of the network. I didn't create it to exploit. I created it to help people.
Well, the reason I sort of wanted to get involved in it was simply because I sort of wished that somebody 25 years ago when I started had the experience to give me the advice that I could have dealt with then.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a way, I suppose you've got to sort of fail in a way to fumble around and succeed anyway. But you know, I sort of wished I had somebody like that back then. I didn't at the time.
So funny you should say that, because obviously I've spent a number of years doing PR at the markets, and the amount of people that came forward that had spent their last penny, literally their last penny, getting their film done, and
to find out several simple fixes could have made it commercially successful.
Absolutely,
is terrible.
Yeah, it's just, and to know that they were given advice and it was the wrong advice, it just made my blood boil. So we, after a number of drinks and a number of festivals and a number of repetitive conversations,
so we should help.
Yeah. It was, excuse my French, it was a shit or get off the pot situation. And we acted. We created something. And, you know, long may it continue to help people. Well, our strategy will change with each festival. You know, as I meet new people, as we discuss clients.
It's a work in progress.
It's bespoke.
What it is I think what it is it'll aim to, certainly from not so much maybe from the right side, but from my side of it, when it comes to advising them on whether it's distribution or things like that. There's two things to point out. Obviously, we will be setting up sort of meetings that go on for an average of 10-15 minutes with the filmmakers whilst we're there. And we can, whilst we're there, give them that sort of free advice and sit there. If they want to get a bit more into it and a bit more in depth, then obviously they need to join the network. Like I said, I mean, I had a great conversation with somebody at one of the other festivals, and they said to me, you know, I spent, you know, almost probably 4 or 5 times what you're charging for one meeting with somebody in New York that gave me nowhere near the advice you gave me, and that was one meeting. So what we're saying here is, look, it doesn't just end and begin at a festival. You know, your membership lasts for the year, and for that, you're getting somebody that you can pick up the phone to and ask those questions to. And, you know, from off the back of Nice, we helped quite a few people off the back of Nice. And even from Madrid, we've helped some people from Madrid who've called us since then, and we've advised them, and they've sort of, and even sent us contracts that we've looked at. Obviously, when we start getting into that, then of course we're going to say, look, we're going to have to charge X to do that. But quite frankly, I think it's worth it if they're getting that protection.
Absolutely.
Because I can't tell you how many films I've worked with, or people I've worked with that had films that worked really hard on a film. It looked amazing, and then they get it to the distribution side of the business, and it's a minefield. And if you're not careful, it could be a bad experience. But with a few simple checks, it can be quite fulfilling.
For sure.
It's like anything. It's like trying to do a film without getting your legals or anything like that in place that could end up hurting you down the line. And so I think just a few simple things can help. So our goal when we're in Milan, at least, will be to have those one-to-one conversations with people and give them advice, whether it's distribution and, you know, what they can do, how they can move things forward, or whether it's, you know, structure and finance, or whatever it is. So I think that's the point of what we're trying to achieve.
Absolutely. Here. And the network isn't a closed shop. It's very much open to a partnership approach. We are a solid banner, and you know, it is an open door. We will not suffer fools, especially if it's something to the detriment of our clients. But we are always open to approach. I mean, I think in this industry, you have to have an ear to the ground. And if we are the filmmakers' ear to the ground, then it's inevitable we're going to attract attention. And I would rather be the goalkeeper and the referee for someone's firstborn project than have them go out alone from the end of the festival and literally feel like they've fallen off the edge of a cliff, cannot say no to this opportunity, because that's when people get burnt. And again, that was the conversation that we had, I think, that drove us to start in the network, was making sure that people didn't get burnt. Making sure that the bits and pieces of advice that we were giving at different festivals became something.
The one thing I'd say is for myself personally, is I'll never give advice to somebody if I've not gone through it myself.
No.
I won't advise somebody to speak to somebody unless I haven't spoke to them myself, or dealt with them myself, and that I know that they're not going to screw somebody over personally, because at the end of the day, it is a relationship-led business. The film industry is a very small industry, you believe it or not. You'd be shocked how small it can be. And I'm talking from major companies that sell the big movies all the way down to the smaller films. It's a very small net group of individuals that are in the core of that industry. I mean, yes, when you go to a major film festival, somewhere like Cannes, for example, you'll get 30,000, 30 or 40,000 sort of films there, which is ridiculous amount of films. And then if you imagine there's over 3,000 to 4,000 companies just selling those films, that's a minefield. It's a minefield.
Yep.
So, but I think the point I think that I'm trying to make is I will only ever advise people on a course of action if I can honestly say, yeah, you're in safe hands there. If somebody says, well, what about that person, and I'm not comfortable, I'd say, I can't tell you that because I don't know.
I think the smartest thing for anybody to do who is sitting on the fence right now and have taken the first step and made themselves either a short or even a full-length feature, even if it's in conceptual and it hasn't gone through post yet, take a look at the network site and take a look at our services. By all means, personally contact us, send us an email, whatever. Don't be afraid to ask the pointing questions. If there's something that we feel that we can help you mould and develop, then we will offer you a membership and we will take things from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a big net. We don't take everybody on. It's one of those things that we will look with a commercial eye at what you've created, and also at the person and the type of people they are. And if someone's prepared to listen, then we're prepared to work with them.